Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the drunkest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq, my other big homie, Al Jackson, and I am the five-star general. Hey, it's been wild. Last few days, police shootings have increased like 1,000%. Tonight, we're going to talk about it. Get a seat, a seatbelt, kick the women and the children out the room. So we're going hard in the paint. I can tell you that much. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. I know y'all look like Al back in the building. Yeah, he in the building. Gonna be here every Monday. We gonna do what we call ManCave Mondays, man. You're gonna have grown talk from grown men. And I mean, bottom line, we're not gonna hold back on you. So what I need you to do, I need you to push the share button on the video, get it out there, and get it out there. And tonight we're gonna have a very intimate discussion. We scaling back on the cursing, not because it's what I want to do, it's because YouTube give us a problem. So we still gonna go hard no matter what. So it is what it is. What's going on, Donovan?
Hey, you guys. Hope you guys can hear me. Can everybody hear me out there? I'm on my laptop. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Hey, yes, this is I think something that we need to talk about in regards to Mondays, ManCave Mondays, because we need the men who are supposed to be the warriors of the village to start stepping up and giving our honest opinions on what we should be doing. But in the news today, before I get to the news, as far as Demetra K, she's still on the show. So we don't want you guys to think that, we booted her off, even though I do lead 1 million black men against Demetra K, because she's been giving the ladies the game out there. So a lot of us guys that were getting over are now not getting over as we should. But in the news today, as you guys know, the Brown family in North Carolina, they were shown after much delay, after waiting 5 days, then waiting another 2.5 hours, 20 seconds of a video that basically didn't show what happened. All it showed was the cops coming in, shooting immediately. So there was something that happened before, and they didn't show them that part. And then when does tactical equipment have to be issued in regards to issuing a warrant? So there's a lot more to this story, and it makes you wonder what is going on with this particular town, because Bakari Sellers, that you guys know, he's a representative attorney, and he came out from the viewing, and he basically said that the way the district attorney there talked to him as if he's some boy, talk about he's not going to be bullied, the white DA. And, again, what is all this based in? Now, the DA, he's a law enforcement official, but you're in North Carolina. This entrenched racism to where these white people see that their empire is now crumbling. It's amazing to me at the depths that they would go, or to see what we would do. Big up to the people in North Carolina and all over the nation that has stopped listening to these civil rights activists. What worked for them 60 years ago is not working for us. We are going to pull up to your house. And they said that was one of the reasons why they could not view the video, because they wanted to blur out the police officers involved. And, you can blur them out all you want. Eventually, those names are going to come out, and we're going to pull up to your house and see, and come see about you. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like that. Now you can put the quote unquote suspect picture all over the news. You can character assassinate him, but you don't want to put these cops out there. And then you got cops resigning, you suspended them, and you don't want to put them out there. That's straight up BS, man. That's straight up BS. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, cops that have been on the force for years, just after this shooting, have decided to resign. You put some on suspension. If they didn't do anything wrong, why are they on suspension? Not just because you're involved in a shooting doesn't mean you automatically go to suspension. What if it was a good, quote, good shoot, even though I don't believe in that? So we've got that coming up Wednesday. Joe Biden has going to be telling you guys how great he is. I've done more for Black people than anybody. You just go ask. That's Joe Biden. He says he's going to brag about what he's done in the last 100 days, right? But here's the thing. If you guys saw Dr. Umar Johnson on the Breakfast Club today, all of you Biden and, supporters and you hoes to the polls and all that other stuff, y'all voted for this man. And it's been 100 days. He's done a lot of stuff in 100 days. There's no doubt about it. Reversing Trump's policies, as well as getting a specific LGBT bill and Asian bill passed on the first try. Hasn't done nothing for Black people that elected him and got him elected, because right now there's not enough Asians yet to determine the outcome of an election. They need that Black vote, and yet he's done nothing for your Black asses. So want to welcome my homie Al Jackson to the program. So now we're gonna get the teenage girls 5-star on Mondays. We're gonna get the 21 the 24 demographic.
No doubt. What's going on, Al?
Hey, what's going on? Somebody asked me earlier today, Al, what's up? Only thing I can say is the toilet seat. And in reference to that, Donovan just gave the news, but this topic is about bad weather. And the bad weather is our brothers and sisters getting rained down on. I mean, the recidivism of Black people has to be eradicated, instantaneously. But I want to thank you all for having me back up here. It says ManCave Monday, but I like to say Man Zone Monday, because, we're in the zone. Not the love zone with Billy Ocean, but the man zone. But one thing I can tell you about the man zone, we're going to tell you, we're not going to tell you what you want to hear just to spare your feelings. We'd rather tell you the truth and your feelings to be hurt. And that's just the way it is.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm sitting back and I had to do some research. And since they, found Chauvin guilty, there have been 24 officer-involved shootings with Black people since they found Chauvin guilty. Looks like blatant retaliation to me. So the question is, and it's going to be a tough question. If you guys got some ideologies, let's talk about it. What do we have to do to stop these shootings? What do we have to do? Because whatever we're doing is not working. So standing in the middle of the street, singing old Negro spirituals, it ain't working. Marching with Black Lives Matter, it ain't working. So what do we need to do? Because this cannot keep going on, because you may be next. Your husband, your son may be next. Your daughter, your wife may be next. So what should we do? Donovan?
That's going to be a tough question, because the biggest problem that we have within our community is we're not on code. Everybody is so stuck into having, I call it the white shadow syndrome. Remember the show, The White Shadow? You got this inner city kids playing basketball, and all of a sudden, comes this white guy who played basketball in the pros and stuff. He's the coach. But for every Black problem that his players had, the white shadow had the answer. And that's how we've been in this country. We've got people, our parents' age and older, that have been so regimented and brainwashed, and some of them are even our age, that think that no matter what goes on in this country, the only solution is a white solution. Now you have new media, new Black media. You've got the Demetra K show. You've got the 5-Star General. All this new Black media out here saying, look, we've had for the last 12 years, we're like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they first started out, or like the New Orleans Saints. We've had a losing season for over 20 seasons, the same coach, the same owner. But you know what? Let's keep on this path. And one day we're going to be successful. No, you gotta change your tactics. You're going to have to try something drastic. You're going to have to start paying your players and get a new coach that knows how to do it, whatever, and get into that slip that works. but we don't seem to have that mindset. We are just constantly being told, sit down, wait a minute. And it's, and the white folks are in terror right now. It's our own people. Well, we just gonna wait for justice and do what we got to do. It's gonna work out in the end in the wash. And we're finding that they are documenting videos and evidence and planting evidence. I mean, we all know this stuff goes on. So why should we continue to wait? I'm not saying rise up and just jam everybody down. But what I'm saying is, I don't think we will ever figure this out if we don't stay on code.
Well, for us to get on code, I mean, the first thing we should look at is an economic boycott. We should look at, instead of paying the coach, let's not pay the coach no more. Let's not put our money into their system, and we want change. So if the Asians can raise up and get a goddamn bill passed in less than 2 weeks, what happens if we pull our money out of their system? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the first thing we need to do to get on code, man, because this cannot keep going on. It cannot keep going on. And I know a lot of you grassroots activists, you want to step off in that water, and you want to get out there and you want to hold your nuts, so to speak. And okay, well, let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to come for you. And they're going to come for you in a manner that you've never seen before. Today, I had the opportunity to speak with Trayford Pellerin's father up in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cedric Pellerin. I speak to this man quite often and trying to find out what's going on. I mean, it's been almost a year since Trayford was murdered by the Lafayette Police Department, and they are still investigating. So he has a meeting Wednesday morning. I'm his personal advisor. Okay, Cedric, how you want to do this? He say, 5-star, whatever we doing, it ain't working. And he say, man, I don't want no money. This family don't want no money. We want justice first. I say, I already know where you at. I say, I tell you what, you got to go into a meeting with the DA. I tell you what, pipe me in, whether it's through the phone, or I would prefer if you could do it through a Zoom and make it a visual so they can see me. And this is how the conversation will actually go. The last time I came to your city, I set that thing on fire, man. I had it in an uproar. This time that I come, I'm not going to hold them guerrillas back. Now, what I need from y'all is I need this investigation to be over. It's not very much that you need to see at this point. Now, if you can't do that, then I can promise you there's not a law in the United States of America that can force me to stop these young gladiators from tearing your ass up. See, this is the conversation to have with these people. You see what I'm saying? I say, in order to defeat this system, there's a system of devils. You have to become them. You have to become just as demonic and evil as they are. Oh, well, I'm not willing to do that. I get it. So don't expect change. I say, but when I set my foot down in a town and I want some movement, I want some action, they know who they dealing with. And I always ask them, like Dr. Dre, you know Lucifer? Well, you about to meet him? Because I'm not going to play the game. You can't buy me off. I want what I want. We have to have some tough conversations with the powers that be. But the easiest thing to do is take our money out of their system, and they will straighten all this shit out. Al?
I totally concur. I think one of the, not the reasons, but one of the problems that's going on in our community is that some of our people just don't know how to get on code. But what does that mean? Me personally, I think that, you and Donovan, y'all say it all the time, that it starts, as you just alluded to, it starts by taking your money and spending it with your own people. Our neighborhoods are so dilapidated. We have poor local elections. We're so worried about getting Trump out of office. We put another races in, and yet still our Black communities are constantly going down. We want better, but what are we doing to get better? I personally, I'm not of the religious apparatus. So if you think you're going to pray to that God up there and he's going to change nothing, you can just forget that, because that's not going to happen. We have been, been in vitriol since coming over here in the Middle Passage. And what have we gotten for it? A damn T-shirt, some symbolism, here we are thinking about Asians and immigrants, but yet still our people are dying in the streets wholesale. But all we want to do is pray and chant and kumbaya and all that crap. And what is that doing for us? So if we don't get on code with each other and practice the group economics, we're going to be back here another month, another year, still in the pandemic, and nothing has been solved, but waiting on God to change it when we can change it ourselves.
Well, I don't read the slave manual. What you talking about, 5-star? I don't read the Bible. I don't read the slave manual. The Bible during slavery was created to control the slaves. Religion in itself was used to control the slaves. Let's just be honest about it. And the thing is, I don't knock anybody that believes in what they believe in. That's your business. But I also know that Dr. King said, I have a dream. Well, how long it take for the fucking dream to come true? I've been to the mountaintop. Well, I ain't been to the mountaintop, but I've been to the CUNY home. And I know ain't nothing changed in the last 40 years. I want to know if it's religion and God that we're waiting on. God, have you been on a break for the last 40 years? Have you seen what these people are doing to us? 40, 50 years of this. And therefore, I don't want to be in the conversation with the local Negro pastor when this happens. When Crump show up, here come the Negro pastors. And now all of a sudden, you at the crime scene and kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. And they steady busting your head open and tear gassing. When are we going to wake up and say it is time to fight back? Now, how we fight back, that's the question. And I think that you don't have to throw a brick. I don't feel that you have to burn down the Walmart. I feel you need to bankrupt the Walmart. It is time for us to take our money and tell them the hell with you. And I guarantee you something, in less than 48 hours, they will respect your money more than they will ever respect you, because they'll be wanting to sit down and they'll be wanting to talk and no. We don't want to do none of that. We don't want to spend no money with you until these laws and this legislation is changed. Donovan.
And that's a definite solution, because all these people respect is money and power. That's what makes the world go round. And we keep telling you guys on this for since the show's inception, and other shows have been in inception. One thing I've noticed is now that Black people are sort of starting getting on code, and they're seeing that there's a pattern with all of this shooting. Have you guys noticed now the NAACP is now raising its head and sitting next to Crump and all these other people? The question is, and I see the African Diaspora Channel brought it up, is who controls the NAACP? Where do they get the majority of their money?
In the city of Houston, the Greater Houston Partnership.
Mm-hmm. And who controls that?
Exactly. Rich white people.
Exactly.
NAACP is a joke.
Right. But we are so identified with that because they were so pivotal for us in the civil rights movement in the 70s and stuff. Now they're starting to raise their heads to control the narrative and to control and to keep us in check. So those of us that are watching tonight, I want you guys to look and notice that they are now giving the NAACP a platform to speak. The NAACP didn't say nothing when the man was initially shot last week. Where were they at? All of a sudden, they got this dude, I'm the pastor and I'm the president of the local NAACP chapter, and I got something to say. Well, why didn't you say something when this initially happened? You know why? Because they're starting to see a pattern, and they're starting to see that all of these shootings are making us come together, at least on the fact of code. But like I said, when has it ever been acceptable? How scared can you be from a black man running away from you?
Say, Fayetteville Wood say, I hear you. So take all the black men over the age of 40 to fight your fight and leave the younger brothers on the home front to get educated and care for the women and children. I said, hell no. No. We need every available brother. And I'm going to tell you why I say hell no. When y'all were fighting, did you leave all the youngsters at home? Because y'all were youngsters in that fight. So why we got to change the blueprint? See, I'm going to tell you something. The soldiers just have to soldier up right now. And that's all it boils down to. So let me ask you a question. A lot of people complain about black on black crime. They complain that we killing each other. You know what America's biggest fear is? They don't fear us marching and protesting. They don't fear that. One of America's biggest fears is them youngsters taking the guns off each other and turning it on them. If you got a strategic plan and you organize the way that you need to organize, the youngsters gonna ride with us. They gonna ride with us. And see, that's what I need for my sisters to do. See, because I love this man cave Monday or man zone Monday. My sisters, sit down and put your skirt on right now. You want us to step up, but you don't get to tell us how to do it. It's going to take some grown men to handle this problem right now. And if they can lay up and fucking have a baby and act like they grown, you can get down in this goddamn revolution too. Donovan.
Man, exactly. You know, in the struggle for civil rights, when the white man was busting in heads and they had arrested everybody that they could possibly arrest. And Fayetteville, you're a history major, so you know you already know this stuff. What was Martin Luther King's and the civil rights leaders' last opportunity? Because Bull Connor was locking up every black person that he could find, right? He sent in the elementary children. Nobody was exempted from the draft or the struggle because he wanted to show the world how vicious this white man really is. And if that white man was going to turn those dogs and those fire hoses on those children, that would have changed world opinion toward the United States and the black man's plight. So I'm with the 5-star. Nobody's exempt from this draft. Everybody, all hands on deck as far as men. But see, again, this goes back to what we're talking about, especially you moms out there. You have no problem with your son selling the drugs, robbing the local liquor store, and just creating havoc in the community. You guys are silent when it comes to that and the negativity. But when it's time for these men to stand up for the community and have to lay down their life for the community, possibly, y'all tell them to sit down. You have no problem for him to go to fight for this white man overseas and do what he's got to do over there, but he comes back here, you're asking him to settle down. It doesn't make sense. This is not your fight. Sit down. Al?
But why? My question is, why aren't those men telling the women to sit down so the man can stand up and protect? I always say that the man's job for his daughters are to protect, provide, and profess. And two weak people can't hold up a bridge. You probably want to be with someone that has your best interest at heart. And I don't necessarily agree that we should have all the young cats on the front line because they're not being taught. Somewhere along the line, the black home has been broken up. As a 5-star alluded to a few weeks ago, some of these men's cootie cats are bigger than the women's, and it's just the truth. You know that there is no leadership. So when we're in our neighborhoods, what do we have to guide us and lead us? Some damn pastor, all he wants is your money, or the guy that's running the liquor store and the pawn shop and they're just taking your money. So we don't have any leadership. I mean, we have leaders right now we're not even listening to, like the minister Farrakhan, Brother Malcolm X. We had Dr. King after he woke up, and then right now you can even see Dr. Umar. You know, read Dr. Claude Anderson. You can even read this book from a lady called Dr. Joyce DeGruy, where she talks about post-traumatic slave disorder. You know, it started way back in slavery, but we can change it. We don't even want reparations because we're too busy arguing with each other. The best way to stop the crime is to point the accusatory finger at the people that are doing it and get those people out of there.
Let me ask y'all something. I'm gonna ask you a question, and you answer the question, all right? And then I'm gonna tell you what we need to do. Do we want reparations?
Yes.
Withhold your money. Do we want the police shootings to stop?
Yes.
Withhold your money. Do we want a better educational system?
Absolutely.
Withhold your money. If they can't make no money, they gonna do what they need to do. They gonna do what they need to do. And we just gotta, we done tried everything else. Why we can't do that? Because the failed Black Negro leadership makes money off your demise. So they don't want you to hold your money. So it goes all the way back to failed leadership. You just made a comment when Dr. King woke up. The Negro was asleep for too long. When he woke up, they killed him. You should have been dead before that because you should have woke up before. If you had woke up before and had to took them people money, then we probably wouldn't be going through some of this. You had the formula in Montgomery, Alabama. That's what we need to do every single time. You know how it is in the house with your wife when you piss off. See, women got something more valuable than money. They got kitty cat. So when they want to control you and get what they want, they withhold the kitty cat. You don't want to take the garbage out, they ain't giving you no ass. You don't want to act right, they ain't giving you no ass. So what happens when you don't get no ass? You break down and you start conforming. So it's the same thing with the United States government. When we start taking our money out their economy, then they're going to give us everything that we want. You see what I'm saying? And all this, and people feeling like, well, now not the youth. The youth is the soldiers. You know, I sat and I watched the last couple of days. I've been, you know, I love Narcos. So I watched on Prime the last Narco by Kiki Camarena, the DEA agent that got killed in Mexico when they was running the weed empire. And then when it was broke down, the United States government killed their own employee. They killed their own employee because they thought he was going to expose the connection between the DFS, which was the Mexican police, the DEA, and the CIA. The United States government is the one that's funneling this dope into these neighborhoods. The United States government is the ones that are funding the arsenals and the guns into our neighborhoods. So maybe for 1 month, don't buy no goddamn dope from your connect. Don't buy no dope. Throw the guns in the streets because you can get them again. Throw the guns in the streets, tell them fuck you in your guns. And we don't spend a dollar. You're going to get everything you want, man. We done tried everything else. But if we don't, you're going to be murdered. You're going to be burying somebody in your family that got murdered by these people.
Yeah, you know, and the funny thing is you say that, like I said, there's always going to be somebody, and I was on a earlier show, on my show, my podcast earlier, there's always a few people that want to say, well, where you going to get a better house when you get here? They're always going to throw that doubt out there and throw that fear out there. You know, always taking up the white supremacy line. But what other choice do we got at this point? We've got people we've done everything that the civil rights era people have told us to do. We have been patient. We have been electing people that look like us to sit at the table so that we're not on the menu. And they're not doing a damn thing. We have done everything else that we can do except the economic boycott. And the only thing this country respects is the money. And I'm one of the very first people that will tell you it's all about the money, because I'm all about the money. I have seen situations going on in Afghanistan when it's kind of like what Tupac said. They got money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. What kind of thinking is that? I've seen it in the military. Al's probably seen it too. They would have cash bundles of pallets that they would pay out into the country. And everybody remembers this. Before 9/11, that plane that hit that building that went down, Building 7, that was the building that had all of the CIA and government receipts in regards to the $3 trillion that was missing, that the Defense Department couldn't account for. And you could go look at the video on YouTube and you will see the Secretary of Defense announce, and nobody remembers this because the next day the towers went down and $3 trillion is missing. $3 trillion is a lot of money. And they did an audit of the Iraq war and stuff like that. Millions of dollars missing. Nobody bats an eye. And I used to fly in pallets of money where we would pay the Afghans and the Iraqis straight out in cash. Nobody said anything. Money is the king, and that's the thing. We've tried everything else, so why wouldn't this work? What do we got to lose? Al, what do you think?
Rich, poor, or indifferent, every black person that is out here spending your money with your own people, you should be treated the same. But the cops don't see us that way. They never have, and they never will. And we could be complicit, and they would still kill us regardless of whatever the case may be. But for me, I think that one of the things that has hurt us as a people is that damn religion. Christianity has kept our people docile over 400 years, but yet and still, the only time we really spend money with black people is when we go to the black church. If us three open up a restaurant or barbershop, wouldn't nobody come in. They go to Supercuts in the mall, and as soon as you don't have the clippers or say it doesn't even smell the same as it does in River Oaks or the Woodlands, then you want to pick us apart, with a fine-tooth comb. But we don't see each other as equal. We always see each other as totally different. Charity begins at home, then you spread it abroad. The black family has been broken. No one really cares. Only time we really care is during November when it's time to vote, and when the politicians, they come to your damn church, or they're in the neighborhood passing out the turkeys and the damn water, then we care. But our neighborhoods keep looking like crap, where we spend money frivolously, not with each other at all. We're complaining that we're not getting anything. But like you said, 5-Star Donovan, hold your damn money. If you hold that, then that will force those people to say, well, you know what? We can't make it in this world without that black dollar. We can't. And so then that'll stop those Asians and then all those other races from coming into our rural neighborhoods and setting up those businesses. Because if you here in Houston, you go down Bissonnette or Bel Air, from one end to the next end is Asian businesses. Over in Spring Branch is mostly Hispanic businesses. Where are the black businesses at? I'll tell you where the black businesses are. They're at the corner stores with the dudes standing in front of the store, throwing their beer cans and chip bags in front of the store. Then the white cop comes, and then now we want to act like we really care. You hold your money, we'll start getting the respect that we need.
Well, let me ask a question. Who controls the government? White or black people?
White.
Then why the hell we keep listening to these failed black politicians? Why we keep trying to go into community meetings and meetings with these failed black politicians? It's time for you to have a talk with the people that run this shit. The head white boy in charge. Now, America it's just built off corporate shit, right? America just built off corporations. They more align themselves with corporations. So why don't you tell Walmart, I'm not gonna spend no money with you? Why don't you tell Target, I'm not gonna spend no money with you? Black people, if you stop spending your money with Amazon, do you understand how fast you're gonna get what you want? So the thing is people like, oh, it's not gonna work. You've not tried it. You don't even understand how impactful your money is. You've not tried it. So what are you waiting on? You really think the system of oppression is going to change when you keep praying to your oppressor? Why would he change it in your favor? It works in his favor. So the only thing that they respect is money. And I tell you a good place to start. You want an economic boycott and watch this thing move? Don't get no money to the church for about a month. Watch them pastors go to work for you. Watch God tell them. They're going to be saying, the Holy Spirit told me to go talk to my city council person. Because 95% of these pastors do not live in your community. They take money out of your community, but they don't live in your community. Banks house your money. They make money off your money. You don't. So imagine if we didn't give no money to the churches and we mysteriously just pulled all our money out the banks. Do you understand how fast they would come sit at your table to fix whatever your problems are? See, every time somebody got a problem, the Mexicans, they take care of them. The Asians, they take care of them. You took the land from the Indians, you come back, get them land and all that. You know, do you know what 40 acres in a mule looks like? 40 acres is roughly 25 blocks. So imagine if they gave you, if they like, okay, Mr. Monroe, look, we y'all ain't spending no money. What you want? I want 40 acres and a monkey. Whatever I want, you gonna give it to me. 25 blocks, man. That's how much they owe us.
I wish that our people, when you were saying about the church, and I keep going back to that, because I'm thank God that I'm not a Christian. But I notice a lot of Christians always say the same thing for excuse other than reasons. God told me to tell you. He didn't tell you a damn thing. That's what you wanted him to hear, so you can go manipulate somebody else to believe your stupid ideologies. But I assure you that if we get off our knees and stand on our feet and be in unison together, we can get exactly what we want. We got to hold the vote on the local elections first, because that's vastly important. That's imperative that we vote locally. Damn the federal, because not one president, including your quote unquote savior Obama, he didn't do a damn thing for black people. All he did was just dress nicely. But damn, your daddy dressed nicely. Biden ain't doing nothing. Kamala with her chucks and pearls. Hell, all of us wore chucks way back in the 80s. It's hard for me to get a pair of chucks. I wear a size 14. But anyway, none of these presidents don't care about black people. We're going to be on it all day. We're going to keep going back to the same thing. Just hold your money. Don't be frivolous with it. Spend it with your own people.
Well, I just want to say, do you know how important money is? Money is so important that how many of you got, and that's what I'm saying, we don't do it. You want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. Just put it in a book, because we don't have the time. I don't understand how Black people, if we are so damn busy and we're making all of this money, because obviously you don't have enough time to read or just do a basic research about some of these shows. I'm going to plug a show. Her name is Tamara Johnson Shealy. She has a show on YouTube called Keeping Up with Congress, and she goes through every bill. These pastors are so money hungry, and it shows you how important when your pastor is, leading and charging for the money. How many of you guys remember that the pastors, there's a provision in the bailout bill that the pastors went to Trump and they carved out a niche so that they can get a bailout. Joel Osteen got $400 million based on the bill that was passed in the last Congress. $400 million. The pastor of a super church got a business, whatever you call that, loan when those guys needed money, whatever. Go look that up. And a lot of pastors did that, saying that they need a bailout. They needed some money. But why isn't it that these pastors did not mention that on that Sunday in the pulpit, that like, I'm gonna go get me some money? They won't mention that. But then you wonder why they got that classic Camaro that they're driving up and putting in a little parking spot right there. And you say, well, where do you get the money? But yet he's still asking for money for the benevolent fund and for the building fund. And then you got to have the pastor and first lady appreciation day fund and all that other stuff. We've got money within our community. It's where we allocate those resources. And sisters, I know, I love y'all to death. I do. I love me some sisters. You can do your own hair for a couple of months. The question is, are we disciplined enough, like our parents, to do an economic boycott?
Are we fighting a losing battle?
Sometimes.
Do you know, man, that if I didn't work for myself, they'd have shut me down a long time ago? Because if I worked for them, they would affect my money. They'll try to make me lose my job. I'm looking at my good friend Aubrey Taylor, journalist, how they're attacking him right now because he's speaking the truth. They're trying to affect his money. They're calling and telling politicians don't do business with him. What I'm calling to tell y'all is don't do business with the government. Don't do business with the local politicians. If these Negroes cannot go stand up for you and get what you want, then why do you keep fooling with them, man? Why do you keep fooling with them, man? And as far as these cops and they killing people, it can't work like that. It can't work like that. And I don't understand us. And some days it behooves me to even think. You see what I'm saying? Let me read what Fred Davis just put because it sounds profound. Let me put it up. County commissioners have just approved giving ID cards to illegals so that they can get COVID-19 shots, unearned benefits, reparations for FBA must be taken. Now, let me ask you a question. If they're illegals and they give them an ID card, a Texas ID card, to get the COVID shot, can that illegal now vote? They know what they're doing. Letting all these illegals over here is not because they feel bad because of where they come from. No, they feel that the black people are starting to wake up and we're nothing to them. So they let the illegals come over, help them out with everything, placate their mind the same way they've been doing yours for the last 60s, and give them an ID card, and now they can vote. Because they know that they have problems now. I'm not for people just showing up over here and getting rights to things that we can't even have rights to. And then they want to, and which they don't bother me. They don't say nothing to me because I pull up at your house. That's known. That's a fact. I pull up at your house. So they don't attack me like they do other people. Bottom line, we gonna have to have some conversations, man. And for every one of y'all out there in these different religions, when is your savior going to come and save us. No matter what religion you in, no matter what you report to. So don't come to me with the religion stuff, because I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing it. You see the same playbook every single time, man. The same playbook. When the COVID hit and then George Floyd hit, and now they got to shut everything down. Their money was affected. They willing to give you anything you want it. All you got to do is affect their money.
You know what was pretty telling to me? So a couple of about a week ago, so I'm watching the CNN news report after George Floyd's and Derek Chauvin, and I noticed that it was a plethora of people going into Cup Foods. This was after the verdict. So what is that telling us? I mean, what is that telling us? That place should have been, I hate the word, should have been boycotted, shut down. We're just saying, don't spend your money. We had sisters.
Well, how do you burn up 90% of Minneapolis, but you never touch Cup Foods?
I think that
What is it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Al.
I think that was by design. They knew that the people of Minneapolis were not going. They might have like destroyed a building or a restaurant or another business, but that place right there, they weren't going to touch it. They know, hey, this brother just got lynched here, by menacing police, and then his same people are going to come right on in here and parade on in here and spend all of their money with us, and we're still going to be in business. It's just going to be another day at the office.
I tell you what, Cup Foods is standing for one reason. They selling dope out the back door. They selling dope out the back door in the alley, man. So they weren't gonna burn it down. You burn down the spot where you sell your dope at. Well, why didn't do nothing to the church across the street? Because he's a former gang member, the man that run that church. But the gas station across the street wasn't affiliated with nobody. That's closed. It's all about your affiliations. They selling dope out the back door. I don't give a damn if they get mad if I say that. You selling dope out the back door. You see what I'm saying?
My thing is this: for this boycott to be successful, most men, we can hold out. It's really the women. And don't get me wrong, when we say economic boycott, we know we don't have any food stores in our neighborhoods, and we ain't got no grocery stores, and we know that. Now, if we know we ain't got any grocery stores, where is the local entrepreneur in our neighborhood that has a little fruit stand or the little walking fruit thing and selling fresh fruit from the farmer's market? Where's that person at? So whenever I hear about these food deserts and stuff, I know they exist, but there's a way to counteract that stuff. Where are the young entrepreneurs and the young moms that can do that? You can be in the park. And trust me, I am in Mexicanville. I am in Mexico, Southern California. I see these Mexicans coming to the park selling tacos, ice cream things, fruit and vegetables, probably with no permit, but they're selling it to their people and they're supporting them. So we don't necessarily have to use the excuse of, well, I got to go to the mall to go get this and that's where the grocery store is. But then, ladies, while you're there, well, since I'm here, I might as well get my nails done. Since I'm here, I might as well go, to get these shoes for little Frankie or whatever. Ladies, if this boycott is going to be successful, it starts with you. It starts with you guys being good stewards of the money, of that money. If not, why even go through all this?
Crystal Mendoza says, I believe in God. I'm waiting on black men to rise up with their minds to battle this warrior class of beings. And I do not agree with you. Your God is obligated to take care of us. Your God is obligated to make sure that we get everything that we ask for. According to your Bible, if we ask for it, we shall receive it. God, I want peace. What's the problem? Look, I can't keep believing in something and not seeing no goddamn results. I can't keep doing it. Al?
And contrary to popular belief, black people, while you believing in that God in the sky, and as Reverend Ike say, you'll believe in a God in the sky, but won't even believe in your own self. Just know this, that our ancestors and our children, and we are, whether we want to believe it or not, or admit it, that we are deities. So the God is in you. It's not in the sky. I get asked all the time, why aren't you this religion? Why aren't you that religion? It's the same way with politics. I don't choose. I'm like nonpartisan in the religious apparatus. And here's the thing was going to keep black people above water and above surface. As we know, we are dealing with a variety of health conditions. We are embedded with comorbidity since the beginning of time. You know good and hell well that you shouldn't be eating certain things. If you are over or underweight, what's the most important thing to your diet? Vegetables, fruit, and water. But they don't have that in our black communities, as Donovan alluded to. We have food deserts. So it's quick for us to go to the Whataburger or the Frenchies or the Turkey Hut or whatever, however you pronounce that name, or somewhere like that. But we won't pick up, a banana or an orange or drink some water. We're quick to drink, as the kids say, the soda water. But here's the thing. You want to help yourself. I imply you to read this book here. It's called A Medical Apartheid. And from one page to the end, it tells the history of what black people have endured and went through as far as our medical. And our health is our wealth. We can't spend the money. We can't create, and we can't have a future if we're unhealthy. I know someone right now who's dealing with emphysema, and the doctor says you need to quit smoking or you're going to be in stage 3, walking around with a backpack and a mask. You know what this person said? Well, when it's your time, it's your time. And when God read it for me, he going to call me. That's a bunch of malarkey. So I was like, okay, well, I'll see you at your funeral, because then it won't wait. We won't do anything until the doctor says, hey, you only got a couple of months. Then you say, well, I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah. Al, how many times have you been to the VA and you see all those vets out there with that big 100% oxygen tank and they're out there smoking regardless? It's just the mentality that we have and the addiction. And I know addiction is a very, very strong thing for a lot of people. But, I mean, we have so many issues that goes on in our community. And right now, somebody's going to say this, Al, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. We're going to start the boycott, but then we're going to be selective. Oh, Mahaji over here? Oh, no, he's a good guy. We need to do, no. If we're going to boycott, we have to boycott everybody that is not black, okay? Everybody that is not black. Mahaji gets no pass. Ling Ling gets no pass. We have to boycott everything that is not black and keep our dollars in the black community, period, point blank, or it's just not going to work. Where in the world? Think about it. Why did Mahaji come and set up shop in your neighborhood? Why didn't he go to the white neighborhood and set up his shop? Because the white folks ain't going to let him do that. They're not going. The Asians ain't going to let him do that. Dr. Umar Johnson said it's like a biker gang. White folks, knowing that their numbers are getting smaller, are going to have probationary whites. They're pledging. They're pledging to be in the white club. So you got the Asians that are probationary. That's why they got a bill. But where in the world can you go and choke out your customer, beat the crap out of them, talk bad about them, live in another neighborhood, still go in their neighborhood, videotape them, call the police on them, and they will still patronize your store. Only in the black community. Only in the black community. You better believe that.
Well, I tell you what, man, an economic boycott. I want you to think about it. If we know that it would work, and I think us three agree that it would work if we did it right, why the black politicians ain't saying that? Hold on. An economic boycott is a peaceful protest, am I correct? An economic boycott wouldn't require us to loot and burn up no buildings, am I correct? Why don't they support that? Why are they not supporting that when we know that that actually has been done, has been proven, and it works? They don't want to do it because they're too busy lining their pockets with your money. They're too busy. I'm watching today. I forgot the little girl name. She's been missing for over a year in Houston, and you know the Congress lady and a lot of other black politicians, they got together and they would like blah blah blah. We need to come together and we need to find this child. How many black kids in Houston missing? How many black people have been wrongfully murdered in Houston? Are y'all doing all this for us? No. No, you're not. They are not for us. And that's the thing. We keep thinking that the enemy is of a different pigmentation. The enemy is just as black as you. That is your enemy, the professional Negro that Malcolm warned us about.
You know, here in Houston, right now we have Mayor Turner. Before Mayor Turner, we had, her name was Elise, Anise Parker. I know a handful of our people that voted for her just on the strength because they thought she was black because her name was Enise. Damn shame. When it's time to vote these local black politicians into to get them their seats, we don't know anything. We only just go by just who you see on TV. You know, quite frankly, Turner, I never was a fan of him. I really, quite honestly, I wanted Busby to win. But you know, when you say that, first thing come out of people's mouth is, "Oh, you're a Republican." No, but what has Democrat done for all of you black people that have been voting Democrat since your grandmama and her mother did? You're just doing that because it's just been ingrained in you. Mama did it, I'm gonna do it. Daddy did it, I'm gonna do it. But when you get in there, you just vote and vote and vote. And I'm glad they changed that thing where you just couldn't vote straight Democrat, Republican. You got to do You got to do your research. So some of these black politicians that you think they really care about you, they don't. We had Wendell Champion running up against Sheila Jackson Lee, you know, with the big hairdo, who hasn't changed none. She hasn't done anything for Houston.
Yeah, well, since the election, has she done anything in Houston in general?
No.
Passed out a bunch of water.
And gave Travis Scott a key to the city. We got the brother come on here all the time, Ron Reynolds. He can lead this city. So just be careful, sisters and brothers, on who you decide to pick to run in these local elections. And I'm gonna tell you something else. A lot of you may not like it. We say we want these black cops in our neighborhoods, but some of them can turn on us too. So do your research on that. We got Troy Finner in here. Let's just hold him accountable. I think he's going to do a superlative job. He ain't gonna be out there whopping and wearing a t-shirt and holding up a damn sign like Art Acevedo did. BLM is a joke.
Yeah, and it's funny Al, that you say that, because that's exactly why I'm known as the recovering Democrat, because I had no idea why I kept voting Democrat when I don't see results for what I'm voting for. I kept voting for them, voting and voting, and it's always next time. It's always next time. I'm 50 years old now. I've waited 50 years. In 50 years of voting, I have not seen anything for my vote. So I just said, you know what? Can't do it anymore. Doesn't mean I'm a Republican, because they ain't that much better. But this is exactly why I started questioning, why am I a Democrat? And if I think a lot of us would do the same thing and just say, why am I voting for this person? You would come to the same conclusion that I did. If they're doing what it is you want to do, and in this last election, if all you wanted was Trump out, you got what you wanted. So you shouldn't have any more worries when they up your taxes and they do all kinds of bullshit, and the gay folks and the transgenders and whatever else you don't like happen because you got what you wanted. But we need to start questioning why we are Democrats, because again, it was Republicans that freed slaves and did a lot for Black people if you look at the record. Then, of course, history changes, times change. Then the Democrats did a few things. When the white boys went off to World War II, the Black folks came in and took those machine jobs up north and all that other stuff. And then after, 4 decades of Democratic rule in the city of Detroit, they don't even make cars no more. Nice going, Democrats. Nice going.
But the first thing they'll say, I'll give you an example. Like Aubrey Taylor, like I told y'all earlier, they're trying to drag him, trying to affect his business. And you got this guy that's a precinct chair or whatever he is, Antonio Maldonado. Yeah, I'm calling your name out. I'm not Aubrey. You better go drink some coffee and sit your ass down before you come walk this way home, boy. But anyway, like I was saying, Mr. Maldonado texts this man and tells him, you selling out Black and brown people. Well, first of all, Mr. Maldonado, stop speaking on the Black aspect, because you're not Black. You don't have a clue what it takes to be Black. Let's get that straight. And as far as selling out Black and brown people, you don't sell out Black and brown people when you tell the truth. So when people say Republicans, white Republicans, and they'll put the white on the front of it, white Republicans, they the devil. And well, what they ever did to you? What have they done to you? No, I get it, Al. What did your quote unquote, because you want to call the white man the massa. So normally the overseer was Black. So your overseer told you that the massa was evil. So instead of you trying to figure it out, you just automatically started thinking that white people are the devil. So Mr. Maldonado, you said that he's being prejudiced. No, you are. Because you have a problem with him telling the truth about Black politicians. That doesn't mean that I am prejudiced against my own people. My own people are hurting me. They're hurting me. They're hurting my community. And Mr. Maldonado, you need to sit down and shut up, and hopefully you come for me, because I got receipts, big homie. And you might be in the list of receipts that got that money from Commissioner Ellis when he had to replace El Franco Lee, and he needed all y'all votes as precinct chairs. Shut your mouth, boy, when a grown man talking.
Dang. Gonna get link. You know what? 5-star though. I think this is a great format to do so that we could talk some issues in regards to men and what we need to do in regards to our communities, and some ideas to do that. Hopefully down the road, there's an issue that is really, and it's a really big issue. I think that we need to talk about this issue. You guys heard about the WNBA and their pay wage gap between men and women. And a lot of women are like, yes, the women need to be paid and equal. Okay, we're not going to talk about it now, but maybe down the road somewhere. It's obvious a lot of women do not understand economics. If the WNBA has not turned a profit in all of its existence, how do you give somebody a pay raise? Which goes to my point of, we need to get financial business and accounting back into schools, because you can't, if Al's a business owner, he's not making a profit. How can he give his employees a raise? He can't. He's basically in the red. He's not even in the black. He's in the red. So, you know, we really got to start talking about that, because a lot of women, and nothing against you ladies like that, I believe you guys should be paid fairly according to your business model and your business plan. But you got to understand economics and how it works. You just can't, you know, give Sue Bird, and I know you guys saw the meme, Sue Bird and LeBron James, they almost have equal stats in their competition. Sue Bird makes $100,000. LeBron James makes $34.6 million a year. And they're saying, see the problem here? 4 championships each, whatever. So I think this is a great platform to kind of talk about these different issues and just get these ideas out there, you know, between what is the problem between Black men, you know, and women in regards to our families, our relationships, and all the other good stuff. I think this is a great Monday to do that.
I think, man, that some issues we just need to not even worry about them. Alan Guillory said the Republican Party stand your ground killed Trayvon Martin. You think so? I think if Trayvon had a better lawyer on his side, I think if Black people would take their ass to jury duty. How many of y'all done been to jury duty? Don't lie. How many of y'all done passed it up? See, everything ain't Republican and Democrat. They conditioned you to believe that. Civil rights, right? Donovan, you know history, don't you? Who pushed that through?
You mean the Civil Rights Bill itself in the 60s? That was Republican. That was a Democratic.
The who?
Agenda.
You say the Republicans pushed the civil rights?
No, the Democrats. The Democrats.
The Democrats pushed that through. And since they pushed it through, what have they done for their party?
Well, you know, the white women took advantage of the affirmative action, because it is known statistically that when Black people group themselves up, they are the least likely to benefit from any program that is set up for like affirmative action and things of that nature that was specifically designed for them. But, you know, we got to stand up for everybody else before we stand up for ourselves. Totally ridiculous, but that's just pretty much how we get down.
And here's another thing too. That guy that mentioned Trayvon was killed in 2012. Who was the president at that time? Y'all's savior for Black people, Barack. Eric Holder and Vanita Cooper, they didn't bring up federal charges. Vanita Gupta, they didn't bring up federal charges on brother Trayvon. And this was under the Obama administration. But what, 80% voted for Obama? And then 88% voted for, I'm talking about Black people, voted for Biden. What have you got?
I'm looking at these comments, man, and Alan Guillory say, I remember Gerald Goins, who was working for HPD. So you brothers think white folks gonna let Blacks stand your ground like them? Let me tell you something about standing your ground. One, I was born to die. Let's get that straight. If you bring your ass in my yard, I'm gonna deal with you. I don't give a fuck about no stand your ground, none of that. If I got to deal with you, I'm ready for whatever come down the pike. So at the end of the day, you feel that white people put all these laws into place. White people done created all these laws to mess over us. Well, what the hell is your Black politicians doing, man? What you need to sit them down there for? Your people is working with the enemy. Your peoples is working, and y'all just think this is black and white. No, it's rich and poor.
And you know, and that's another thing. How many of you guys have asked your representatives? Because let's get it real. White people don't vote for Black people overall. When Black people get into office, it is because of the Black vote. Asians don't vote for blacks. Hispanics don't vote for blacks overwhelmingly. That doesn't happen. Do you guys realize right now, I'm in the state of California, a judge here in California has mandated that in 90 days, the city of Los Angeles has to come up with homes for 60,000 plus homeless people in LA. How he's going to enforce that, nobody seems to know. But here's the question, and I sent this out to my representative, and my representative isn't even black, but I sent it out there. How many of you guys have done this? Do you guys understand that when this COVID situation is up, do you know how many black people are going to be homeless? Have you asked your politician and your representative what bill are they going to do to help you who didn't pay your rent when the 5-star told you to pay it, Demetra K told you to pay it, I told you to pay it, Phil Scott, the new black media, we all told you if you were in a position to pay your rent, you should pay it, but you didn't do that. You went and got your hair done, you got that new, that new car, you did, everything you wanted to do, and that's fine. Are you asking your politicians how they are going to address the homeless issues within our own communities right there in Houston, in the black neighborhoods that's going to be happening? Because that's what's going to happen. Why do we wait until it becomes a crisis before we do anything? They should be thinking of this stuff right now and come to you and be telling you, this is what we're proposing in anticipation of all these people not being able to pay their rent. Oh, no, that's right. We are so dependent on our food stamps, our Section 8 vouchers and all that. We're not worried about it, right? Wait until that thing is over and see how this Democratic administration is going to deal with you.
Well, I want to address this. Alan Guillory say Trayvon was killed by Republican Party policies and a bag of Skittles, right? Let me go to the next thing. Alan Guillory, Nurse Theory, they will give you voicemail and runaround until they know it's a bag on the other line. If these people are that fucking bad, then why do we keep voting them back in? No, Republican Party politics did not kill Trayvon. It's the fact that black people won't get their black asses out and vote. No, you tell me if I'm wrong. As many as you think voted, how many didn't? Imagine if we got our behinds out there on the local levels and we voted like we were supposed to. We could change the narrative, but because we don't, and because we don't want to call out our brothers and sisters, we revert to calling out innocent white people that ain't got nothing to do with us not getting our asses out there and voting. Except the fact that some of our people are sorry, and they not worth the ground that they walk on.
Did you guys see the judge in the Darren Chauvin trial? How do you think he got there? That is a local elected jurisdiction judge. And it was blatantly obvious that he wanted the cop to walk. You guys could control.
The cop is gonna walk. Have you seen what one of the jurors said?
Yeah.
That I voted like this here because I lived in Brooklyn Center and I couldn't even make it home to my house. I was tired of the riots. Baby, you just gave the man the appeal. You violated his due process. He will walk in an appeal. Because that one vote, that means you didn't feel he was guilty. That means that you only voted guilty because you didn't want to deal with riots. You just let him walk, baby. And guess what? I got 10,000 on this one. I bet that in Vegas on this shit. Y'all gotta wake up and smell the coffee, man.
Hold up. Let me just finish that thought. But that is what we mean about voting your local level. You could control the judges and at the local level. So when you go on in there and you're going in for a ticket and all this other stuff, why isn't that, if you're in a predominantly black neighborhood, why isn't that judge black? But we blame the white guy for everything. But go ahead, Al.
Regarding the Trayvon Martin situation, regardless if it was a Republican policy, that was still up under Obama's administration. He was already that was his second term. This is in 2012. Obama got voted in 2008. So that was what had exacerbated the situation, because everyone thought Obama was going to do something for black people, and he didn't. Right now, the 8 years that he was in office, what did he do? What, sing some stupid ass song at a church? What did he do?
Well, he lectured us. He lectured us. He lectured the black man about pulling up our pantses and being more responsible.
And Michelle, all she ever said was at the RNC, when they go high, we go low. No, you got to meet sometimes people where they are. So Michelle is no better.
We know our people sold lots, so why we keep voting them back in, Alan? How we gonna keep complaining about the white folk running everything when we keep voting back where I started in the beginning, the failed black politicians? We keep putting them back in office. We keep putting them back in. The definition of insanity, I guess it is real.
Well, I just want to say this. You guys know that I come very hard for Maxine Waters all the time, because Maxine Waters is very close to where I live here in California. And of course, I see her district, the poorest district in the neighborhood. They did movies on it, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. That's all Maxine Waters' district, right? But I will say this about her. Maxine Waters was born in 1938. She is not a baby boomer. She is a silent majority group. She's in that grouping. This woman is 82 years old. She'll be 83 this year. Notice that when, she should have kept her ass in her district or whatever, but I got to give her props on this one, because when they do right, I can deal with it. She was the only one on ground zero that said what she said. Now just think about it. If we had more politicians that had the audacity to say what it is, how we feel. Think, and notice the next day they tried to censor her. Think about if we had politicians that stood up to white supremacy. Maxine Waters at that time could have galvanized and had those people do any and everything that under the sun that needed to be done at that time. We need more politicians that are bold enough to stand up and lead us in getting our bills passed and all of this stuff. So I'll give her that. But again, she went back to what she's doing, because she's trying to stay relevant. But we need more politicians that are willing to be on ground zero and to direct us to where we need to go.
I got Theory is coming up there. Theory, you have a lot to say. You either come on this show or you coming off this show. You have a lot to say. And I want you heard. Because I see people every day. They got all the formulas. They know all the solutions. And then we come on the show and we got to debate. It makes my heart hurt. It makes my heart hurt. God damn it. What part of standing up and fighting you motherfuckers don't get? You don't have no fight in you. Your fight is standing behind a fucking computer. You don't have no fight in you. And you're sad. Don't speak on your ancestors. Don't speak on the ones that lost their life for your ignorant ass to be able to suck water out the same water fountain. Don't speak on the ones that gave your children the opportunities to go to school with them people that still don't like them. Don't speak on them. You ain't got half the nuts that they had. I need to see y'all. Fuck fighting on this computer. Get up in them streets and fight. Fuck fight me. Get up in them streets and fight. Because that's the only way it's going to get done. And then my man said, Obama did a lot for black people. You must have just got off that motherfucking spacecraft that went to Mars. He was doing something for black Martians? Because black Americans didn't get nothing out the game with him in office.
But here's my thing, 5-star. You know, a lot of people say that, but then when you ask them, name me 5 things, I'll wait. Go ahead, Thunder. Since he did so much, name it.
You know what? You got to stand up in these streets and you got to fight for these people. I'm fighting for these people making these comments. Obama did for us a lot. Final thoughts, man.
Oh, wow. Here's my final thoughts real quick. Again, this is a great format. I think it's going to be a little bit more raising without Demetra chastising us for the stuff that we do on the show. I'm gonna miss her on Mondays, but you know what? She does a lot, so she needs a break. So let's give Demetra a break. And plus, Al wants
No, I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna fire y'all up. I'm gonna take the rest of the week off. I'm tired of being around these intelligent people, man. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. To hear these intelligent comments, I am sick and I am tired of it.
Yeah.
Obama did something for black people, yet you can't name a goddamn thing that he did. You consume my time with these whack-ass comments. Man, I'm off the rest of the week. Fuck this shit.
I think they were being sarcastic.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, you know, it's a great format, I think, to do. And again, you know, we just got to stay on code. The question I'm going to challenge everybody to remember is this. Are we disciplined enough? I mean, we're already immature enough when it comes to politics. Are we disciplined enough to do what our parents and grandparents did in the 1960s, in the 1950s? The bus boycott was in the 1950s. I think we can do it if we can stay on code. So I'm not going to give up. The fight is one day at a time. But just because we win a battle doesn't mean the war is over. So that's all I got. Al, what do you got?
My final thought is that everything that we have reiterated over the last hour or so, two things can be true at the same time. You have to vote on the local level first, and you have to save your money and spend it with your own people. We're already lacking in resources. So many of our people are against reparations. I mean, Donovan says it all the time. Money makes the world go round. They also say here on the war zone, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book, because they know half of us don't even read. You know, we just the other day, or today rather, or a few weeks ago, however long it was, a man named Anthony Brown was killed, and they have a redacted video. So I'm going to say this much, and I'll pass it over to 5-star. And this is for the young brothers out there. Don't give up the fight. You know, stay in there. But here's my thing. When you are driving, wherever you're visiting, and you're going to someone's home, my family, they have this in their own algorithm that when you get home, you make sure you call us and let us know that you made it. So I would say, because the cops are so splenetic when it comes to us, that we need to just, if you're going to go somewhere alone, do it in the daytime. Don't do it at night. You know, too many of us are being killed, you know, due to the hands of the police. But hey, we've got to save our money, spend it with our people, and vote on the local level first. That's my final thought.
My circle is small. And it's small for a reason. I like being around like-minded people. I like being around Brad. I like being around Larry McKenzie, Donovan. I like being around Al, Demetra, like-minded people. I like being around. I like being around Brett. I like being around. Except where we are. Donovan. Stop complaining about your conditions. You're not willing to do what it takes to make those conditions change. So I recommend that you get up every morning, you go punch your clock, you make your little money, you get your crumbs and shut your rat ass up. And that's how I feel. Because if you ain't willing to fight, if you ain't willing to die, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. And for all you armchair quarterbacks, hold on a second. Can you hold on? Can you hold on just for a second? It's going to change. And for all you armchair quarterbacks, hold on a second. Can you hold on just for a second? When I represent the yard, I represent for a reason. Them patches on there, I earned every last one of them because I put the work in. Well, that's one arm. Let's go to the other arm. I put the work in. See, I ain't the Negro that just represents something and don't put the work in. See, I ain't out here just fighting for myself like some of y'all been on here about how you fight for yourself. This ain't about you. This about us. You can't get them patches on your fucking jackets unless you fight as a team. As a team. And this unity thing that we keep talking about that will never happen is because some of y'all don't understand the team structure. You don't understand what it takes to be a good teammate. Some of y'all don't need to do nothing but pass out water. You ain't got no business on the field. You leave the field for the players, man. You can talk all that shit from the sidelines. But some of us gotta get on the field and play the game. Now, the best thing that you could do is you could support us. But I'm just so tired. I'm so fucking tired, man. It's unbelievable the things I see people say. You're not as smart as you think. You're highly educated, but you're not smart. It's a big difference. And some of y'all are so smart that you fucking dumb. You're not as smart as you think. You're highly educated. Until tomorrow night, man. My peoples will see you. I'm 5-star. We signing off. It's the war zone.